Hey everyone, this is Zoraz, not Casuals. In today's video, I'm going to go over the new patch in Rise of Kingdoms. Now, this is one of the biggest patches we've seen in a while. There is so much new stuff, new key, new equipment, new chest, new VIP store, new rewards from a lot of different places, the new bundles. There's really so much going on. So I'm going to try and cover it all and give you my tips and ideas. Feel free to go in the description and see the chapters for this video because I will be categorizing it in order for you to find the section that is relevant to what you want to learn about, as well as feel free to give us your suggestion in the comments because this is such a new patch, there's so much going on. We'll try and help everybody as much as we can and make videos on this further on in the future. So the first thing I want to cover is what's new in this patch. So first of all, we have in the blacksmith tons of new equipment. As you can see here, this is basically the sets. So you will see that there's 3 completely new legendary sets, which as you can see, the statistics are insane. 20% on one item, and if you get the proc, which obviously would be insanely lucky, you could get 30% for one stat for one item. That's absolutely crazy amount of value. Of course, these are not available for everyone, especially free-to-play players will never be able to craft this set unless they play for years. But it's also very hard to get the reward itself. It won't be coming from everywhere. You'll see that you go around and some of them will come from Golden Kingdom VIP shop. A lot of it is going to be having to be bought with gems, as well as some of it will come from the Lost Kingdom, so the new rewards for later kingdoms, which doesn't apply to this kingdom yet, but this is going to be something for the future. It's a very long-term goal, but it's really cool that it exists because this will make a huge difference in terms of statistics. The pieces add value on top of having a lot of stats on them, but there's also a lot of new gear in the purple and blue area, which will be accessible for most players, especially these kind of sets like the Windstep Sweat. That's a really good one. So I'm going to go over all these sets specifically a little bit later on in the video according to their unit types, but that's one of the main new things in the game right now. Now as well, if you go in the blacksmith, you'll see that there is only 4 equipment materials left. Now that is pretty great because before there was so many, it's kind of hard to keep track and kind of hard to like focus on one, build some items. And you'll see that as well, the bone one now will be applicable only for certain items. Like if you go around, most of the items don't take bone except this new, well not new set, but this set that has gathering. So this gathering set, now this is the one that uses bone. So other than crafting gathering items, the bone one is completely irrelevant, which means that you really only have these 3 to focus on. So I wouldn't be crafting a lot of the bone. Actually, I have some of it queued up. I'm going to remove it because I have bought the bundle that gives you the full gathering set. So I don't actually really need any bone for the foreseeable future. So that is one more thing that's new. As well as if you go in, let's go over the tavern first, you will see there's a full new chest, which is an equipment chest, as well as the key corresponding to that chest. Now, that is very cool, very new. These chests contain a lot of different patterns and a lot of different materials. Now, for the sake of the video, I have 11 keys I've saved up, so I will open all 11 and just show you what I get in 11 of them. So, as you can see, it's a lot of different materials to make a blueprint to craft certain items. Now, some of these items were really hard to obtain before. Now, the fact that this is available in this store will make it so that almost every single item, except the orange ones, of course, as you can see, there's not a lot of orange one coming up here, you'll be able to craft a lot of them. So this is a really, really, really good thing. It will unlock a lot of items, accessibility for everyone to be able to craft whatever items they want, especially in the blue and green and a bit of purple area. So this is going to be amazing. If you want the key, they cost 1,000 gems, so I don't think it's worth spending on. But you see, when you unlock some blueprints now, you have completely new bundles that come with it as well. Now, there's a few different values of these bundles, depending on the rarity of what you're unlocking. I've only seen one of these bundles so far, and there was like $4, so it's very cheap. These are insane value. If you get 100 of that, a bit of gems and resources, and some of these keys, they're very, very good value. So I recommend buying them if you are into buying stuff in this game, as well as you will see that there is one bundle that will pop in the store once you've unlocked a certain level of the blacksmith. Now, I've already purchased it, but that bundle basically gives you the entire crafting set, as I mentioned earlier. So if you go here, I will show it to you quickly. Now, it's this set, the Forest Guardian set. Now, as you can see, it has a little bit of stats for Cav and Infantry and all that stuff, but most of it is about resources, and extra 5% resource is very, very worth it. So I do recommend getting that bundle because it's quite cheap, and what it gives is worth the value if you're going to be using it, of course. It's going to give you a lot of gathering speed, so it's very worth it. And if you don't want to use it for gathering and your very new account, it will be worth it to use just for the Infantry and Cav stats at the beginning at least, until you've had it all for your gatherer and you've had better items for your infantry and cav and such. The last thing I want to go over, one thing what is new, is in this shop, the VIP shop, of course. You will see that first of all you have material chest 1 that you can buy for food, so that is 100% value every week. Always buys this, always buy this, and anything in this shop that costs resources you should buy. This new material chest is amazing. You have to buy it all the time. You'll find out that there's also one for gem here. The value on it is very good, but again, I would not recommend small spenders or free-to-play to spend gems on this specifically. As well as you'll see that there's random equipment chests for all the different unit types. So this one is for Cav, there's one for infantry here, and there's also one for archers, as well as material chests, epic. And if you go down further, there's all these ones which are infantry, calves, and archer as well, which are legendary and incredibly expensive. This is fully well only. Now, most people won't be buying this, and you can only buy 7 a week. So it will take a long time for people to buy 7 a week of one of these to get 30 of all of these fragments. It will take a very long time, but this will be a very well focused spending. Now, I still would say that some of these epic ones could be worth it for the medium spenders, especially for some of this, like this particular item, which is the weapon for infantry, which gives like I think 17% infantry attack or 14%. Anyways, it's incredibly good. There is one for every different class, like infantry, calves, and archers. So this one also has its new weapon and all that. So this could be worth it, but over time, as you play, you will unlock all of these ones for sure through just the general content and the keys you get every day. So I wouldn't recommend spending a lot of gems on it. It depends on your level of spending, but it's just nice that it's available, as well as just the materials themselves. These are going to be very worth it because it is very hard to access material in this game, or at least it was hard before. Now all of this will make it a bit easier. So as you can see, there's a lot new stuff in here. If you go in the normal store itself, you will also have this key, which we just saw in the tavern. So, I mean, it's definitely not worth spending 1,000 gems on. But if you look here, now in your daily quest every day, the last chest will give you a golden key and an equipment key chest. Now, this is very valuable. This is very worth it. This is something that will be worth every day. It's already, you have to do this every day if you want your account to get any kind of stronger, but this will be absolutely worth it. It's really great that they're allowing a free-to-play to get this every day, because this will eventually make it so that your account has a lot of good equipment. And even if you don't have all the orange equipment, if you have all blue, yellow, blue and purple, you will actually do very well. The stat boost is still very, very noticeable. So for now, this is about what's new in the game. Now, there's a lot of new stuff and new ways of accessing this. One other thing that's new is if you go in your item equipment tab here, you'll see that first of all, you've gotten a lot of these chests from your old material, so that's great. As well as you'll see these random chests here. Now, this one is the one that you can buy in the VIP store, and these ones are the ones that you just get. It's a choice. So basically, you have to choose between 2 different items in the green category. There's some for purple and orange as well, and the way you get them is from Sunset Canyon. Now, when you play a game of Sunset Canyon against anyone and you win, you will see that you will get one of those chests afterwards. So, you see, I've just won a game, and you see 2 of these chests just came out. So I have 2 of them from one of them, and also we got a material. Now, obviously, this means that you have to use your challenge attempts every single day. Winning or losing doesn't make a huge difference. Obviously, winning is probably better, but this becomes so much more valuable. I've also seen orange equipment chests drop from this, so this has just made Sunset Canyon much more valuable, not in terms of like being high ranking, but in terms of having to do it every day. It's really going to be a way you're going to unlock a lot of really good stuff. So I would like 100% say that you have to do your 5-6 tries of Sunset Canyon every day diligently on all the accounts that you are trying to boost up. So one more thing that I want to address is where to get a lot of this stuff. Now it's kind of confusing where to get the keys, where to get the new chests, all that stuff. So as I mentioned, the VIP store, the daily tavern chests, all the kind of stuff, the daily quests. But there's a really easy way to know where you get some of this stuff. So when you go into the equipment itself, you can click on the pattern and it will basically tell you where it comes from. So this is something that really helps. Now, obviously, it comes from a lot of places a lot of the time. So just be like aware or pay attention. Like if you're building an infantry set, you're gonna go and look at, like, for example, let's say in the sets, I'll go and see I want this set, the windswept set. So I'll be like, where do I get this pattern? Because I don't have it and I want to craft it. So this one, Sunset Canyon. So that's amazing because you do Sunset Canyon every day. This is one of those that will come from these chests specifically, as well as the Shadow Legion invasion. So when the Shadow Legion is on, make sure to do it. Now, same for this one, Sunset Canyon, Golden Kingdom. So I already have 3 of them from the Sunset Canyon, and this patch came out yesterday. So as you see, it will come quite quickly. Now, we can't do it all today because it's very early in the patch, but as you can see, a lot of this information is available to you in the game already. You can see where it comes from. Garden Infinity is another place. And sometimes it says go. It will basically tell you what to do. Of course, in Sunset Canyon, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to fight. Also, if you're in KvK in the Lost Canyon, you can see that in the shop here, there is some of these here. So, of course, these are orange. I'm not going to even buy them because there's no way I can afford, like, orange items. They're super expensive. It's crazy. I would focus on purple unless you're a very big pay-to-win player. But again, there's availability in a lot of these stores, a lot of these shops, a lot of these events. So just keep a track of that, keep aware, and look at the items that you want to build, which is what we're going to go into next. Just make sure that you know what you want to build and where it comes from, and it will really greatly help you. Also remember that barbarian camps and keeps, which we have a video about, by the way, so if you want to check that out, this is one of the best way to gather some of these equipment. You basically just have to do them on a diligent, regular basis. You will see that over time while you do your daily and stuff, you will accumulate a lot of these patterns, and you'll eventually have so many of them, you'll be able to destroy and recraft them to get these bonuses. Now, one last thing I want to mention about equipment crafting is don't neglect all these quests. You can see here, I've only crafted a few equipments, and look at how many of these first patterns, but also the material that you get from crafting equipment. Now, they've added a lot of these quests to the game recently. So crafting, disassembling or assembling new material, dismantling equipment, crafting equipment of every rarity will all, like, see, I crafted one blue item, I get 25 ore from it, like, and a Scarlet Hound. So that's one of the new items that you cannot get right now unless you have the materials. Here, you get a full pattern of it from just crafting the elite equipment once. So I would recommend that, of course, you know, be careful and craft things that you need one by one and try and get the bonuses and stuff. But don't neglect that you can craft and dismantle a few items and of every color and every kind of like rarity, and you will get a lot of these materials for free, and you'll unlock a lot of these patterns for free. So it is definitely worth paying attention to what's next. So now I have Force 3 to get this one, and there's some of them that are not shown, but then when you do the action, it will get you the reward. So I would recommend that you play around a little bit in the store, do a few dismantles and reassemble if you have the extra material, and just doing that will probably give you a dozen quests and a few of these new items that you'll be able to craft right away. Now, the last thing I want to add before we get into the actual equipment is that you can see here that there is some new accessories. Of course, if you've done KvK 3 or 4, you know that the Scholas Lucky Coin comes from the Lost Kingdom. Basically, it's their big reward from winning KvK and doing some of the big achievements. Now, they have added a lot of new items, and as you can see, some of them are actually incredible. I think this is probably the best one. Restoring Rage is insane in this game, and you can see they all come from the Lost Kingdom. So, this is probably speculation from... so this one is Barbarian Keep, actually, because it's not new, but you see this one. So the speculation is that the rewards will probably be choice of one of those. I'm guessing for KvK 5, they're going to change the rewards, and you're going to have to basically choose one of these legendary equipment. Again, this is a very well-oriented kind of items, and you know the stats are amazing, but it's still a very small bonus in terms of the game. So for the newer players in the newer kingdoms, it won't really matter, but I've noticed that there's also these ones which come from the Lost Kingdom, and they're purple, so these ones would be accessible for some of us. So this one is not new at all, but this one is the Commander XP gain 15%, Lost Kingdom. So, you know, there is some free-to-play stuff, as well as this one, which, 5% march speed can be quite useful in the open field. And again, this is from the Lost Canyon, so this is something new. I don't know where you get this, because I don't see it in the Lost Canyon right now, but it seems like they are going to revamp some of the rewards from KvK, which is a very good bonus, because people have been complaining about getting this coin, which is impossible to craft for 99% of the player base. And we're getting it 3 seasons in a row would be completely worthless. You don't even have to do KvK at that point. Like, why would you want this coin 3 times? Even twice is already pretty, not worthy. So I'm happy to see some changes, and I'm hoping that they make it so that you choose one of these rewards, or every KvK has its own reward or something like that, because it will make it a lot more fun. And once you're up to KvK 4 and 5, you have had time to gather the equipment materials to craft maybe one of them, even if you're like low spender or free to play. So this will make it more relevant, especially now that we have a daily chest that gives us material every day. This will, of course, make it so that we gather equipment much faster than before. So this is, all in all, I would say positive. Now, people have been saying that the bonuses on these sets is incredibly too good, like incredibly insane. If you look at the infantry attack, 20%. Now, if you get a proc when you craft it, you will increase by 30%, which makes it like a bit 25, 26% infantry attack for one item. Now, this is more than one entire research tree in the lab gives you, so it's absolutely incredibly high. It's insane values. Now, 11, 11, 7.5. As you can see, this whole set would give you like something like more than 100% of like stats in general, which is very, very high. But we have to remind ourselves that this is going to take months to craft for whales. It's absolutely insane, like how expensive it is, but also how long it will be to gather all of the materials and all of these blueprints. As well as if you go and look at some of the purple set, like for example, this one is basically the archer set. Now, the difference in stat is not that big. Like, the weapons are what's the biggest difference. But you'll see that, like, all of these items also have 4, 5, 7%. Like, it's not that bad. And getting a full purple set for a medium spender or even low spender in free-to-play is not that impossible. Now, especially, like I said, you're going to get so much more material in the game all the time. This is going to be something that will be more achievable for everybody to be able to craft a full set for at least 1 or 2 marches by the time you're, like, in the late game. So, I wouldn't freak out just yet. As I said here, these kind of items, the weapons, you'll see... especially like Golden Age is Archer, this one is Infantry 13%, and this one is Cav 13%. Now, these are not impossible to craft. Like, this comes from all of these events, which half of them are easy to get as free to play. You'll see I only have one of these already from, like, 1 day of playing on the patch. I have this one, 28 of them from before, but of course, it's not going to be that impossible for me to craft. And, it's expensive, but again, you're going to get a lot of materials every day. So I would say that this patch is not as bad as people think. It's not so pay-to-win friendly. Of course, it will make the pay-to-win players stronger, but they were already much stronger than us, so it's not like a big, massive difference there. You shouldn't be fighting a T5 without your own T5 guys anyways. So, this is going to make things a little bit more balanced in terms of like all these items that were never being used and that give like good percentage. Now there's a way to get them a lot easier than before. So you're going to have like a full bonus set on your armies as well, which will be not as good as the whales ones, but will be much better than what you had before. Like I said, the difference, 13% boosted by 30% will be a lot closer to this 20% boosted than before, where you didn't even have a weapon and they would have these kind of weapons kind of thing, So it's not as bad. I think there's really good stuff coming in there, and I think our accounts will get stronger without us knowing it. I don't think people realize yet how much more materials you're going to be able to get every day from all the daily quests and all the new events and stuff. It's very, very much going to be a boost for everyone, and it makes this game a bit more fun. There's a bit more at stake, and as you see on all of these reward things, there's going to be more reward in some of these events that probably didn't exist before. So now it's going to be part of more events, there's going to be more stuff to do, and it's basically just going to be a positive thing for people who are active and like to play every day. So I would say don't freak out just yet. This is not becoming completely pay to win, not more than it was before at least. So I am pretty happy with that. I think that my account, which is a pretty moderate, lowish spending, will be able to get some of this like set for my own armies, and it will make a big difference in my gameplay and improve my performance in expedition and PvE events and stuff. And my whale will obviously get all of their big items, and I will join their rallies like I kept doing before, and we will be winning the fights because of that. So, all in all, this will be a very good patch, I think, and I'm very excited for the future of it. So next, I'm gonna go through all the items that I think are best for every troop category. So I'm gonna start with infantry. Now, I will ignore the orange items because they're not reachable for most of us, and these 3 new sets are obviously the best in-slot items for their own category. Like, these items are obviously the best for archers, and the bonus gives archer stuff. Same here for infantry, the bonus gives infantry. So if you had all 6 pieces of this, would be the best items in the game for you by far. Now, there are some alternatives. Like for example, here in the chest, there are the 3 sets, but there are also some extra ones that don't have set bonuses. Now, obviously, this one is still very good for Cavs, 12%. But if you look at the Cavalry set here, it's 11%. So the difference is minus, like it's very, very small. But you see that the true bonuses with the sets would be much better if you had 6 pieces. So, of course, if you have some of these crafted, they're good. But they're not going to be better than if you have the entire set. So I don't think it's worth spending so much time on this. This only applies to whales. And, of course, like I said, if you have the full set, it will be better than anything else. If you don't, the stat priority is pretty self-explanatory on the item. So just craft what you can and use what you can until you can get the full set. Now, if we go into purple items, now for infantry, there is obviously this weapon, which is new, and it is by far the best weapon you can get in the game, and it is the most statistics by far. I would say that weapons, if you can craft them, which obviously you can't just yet, but as you gather the materials for it and you will be able to craft it, they will be the biggest and most highest priority to craft because they give the most value per one item by far. Like 13% for one item only is more than like 3 or 4 different items combined together. So if you're going to craft a purple item for yourself, I will say choose the one that applies. So this one for archers, and this one for cavs, and this one's for infantry. This is the one that you want to focus on. They are by far the best. It is just too many stats to be ignored. Now, once you can achieve the materials and you can achieve the pattern, go for it. This is really what's the best. So of course, infantry, this one is the best. And if you can't get this one right away, of course, there is some other alternatives. Now, in the green one, this infantry held 6%. Now, it was very hard to achieve before, but now it's accessible. So this is definitely one of the best items you can get for green. And if you can get a blue one, which I recommend, infantry health is a bit higher, 8% here. And this one has infantry defense 5%, so it's also very good. But now that this one is going to be able to craft easily, I would say this is your first priority to go for because health is the best stat, especially for infantry as well. So I would say focus on the shield, and when you can get this Sakura thing, it's just way too good to ignore. Now, in terms of helmets, so this is obviously the best one, 8%. Just, you know, the stat that's highest is usually the best one because even if some of the other stats are a bit better, if you have 3% of another stat more, it's just better in general. So again, this is the best infantry helmet that you want to have for purple. If you cannot manage this one, there is a lot of options. The Windswept Warhelm is very good as well, 4.5%. Now, Windswept also has a 2-piece bonus of troops attack 2%. So the Windswept item is a very good set to have. The 4-piece 4% march speed is not as optimal, but I would still recommend that for low spender and early game spenders, you focus on getting 4-piece of this because it's blue, it's craftable, and every single item of the Windswept is actually made for infantry first. So, you know, there's a bit of infantry here, there's infantry health here, and there's infantry defense here, and infantry attack here, and together there's 2 more attack plus 4 march speed. It's a very, very good set, the same way as Vanguard is a very good cavalry set, and actually, this revival set is a very good archer set. So it's really nice to see that there's actual options for every player now, every type of player. Now, of course, these ones give 2% of defense, and this one health, and this one gives 3% attack. So actually, my recommendation for the helm is that you build this one and you get a proc for it to be, it will be 4% attack total, until you can get this one, which is 8% attack. Now, as I said, if you get the Windswept for the set bonus, do it. It's amazing. It will be good for you, especially until you can get a lot of purple items. But like the green ones, they're not really better than the white one in this case for infantry. So I would say really this one, and then this one. That is your order of priority in terms of getting an infantry helmet. Now we'll go over the chest. Of course, There is this one, 8%. Now, I can already craft it, so that is a very good, easily achievable set. You get it from, as we saw earlier, a lot of different stuff, so that's why I can already get it, because I've had the patterns for it before. So 8% attack, this is great. This is an amazing item, very easy to craft. Now, if you look at the other ones, this is nothing for infantry, so really, the Queen Soul is the infantry purple that you want to get. Now, in the blue one, again, we have the Windswept, which is 4.5. These ones are not as good at all. Obviously, there's not much infantry. This one has 4% and it's green, so this is the cheapest one and the easiest one you can get. This is not at all for infantry. So it basically says infantry breastplate. The name is pretty self-explanatory. Again, this is the best one for infantry for green. Then you get into Windswept, especially when you have the set, and then you'll work your way into Queen Soul as the purple ultimate items for low spenders for infantry. Now, glove, again, same kind of thing. There is this one, infantry defense, 5%. Other ones don't have much infantry. It's 3%. It's not worth it. So, set brutality is the best infantry glove for purple. And then you go into the blue, again, Windswept, same thing. It is the second best. There's other ones here that have a little bit of stats, but again, 4% and 1% here. Now, this is the one exception. This one is 5% of infantry stats, so this is very good. But if you have the 4-set Windswept, it'll be a hard choice between both. I would still argue that the pure stats will be better on this one, especially once you start replacing some of the Windswept by purple items. The troop march speed won't apply anymore. So I would recommend keeping 2 Windswept items while you build up other items. And one I would replace would be this one for Calvin's Hand, once you can craft it from getting the patterns here. It's going to be a very good item. It's going to be probably better than the purple for a while. I mean, the stats are very similar, very close. So this will be like one of the last ones you upgrade to purple, because as you see, especially if you get the bonus 30%, this will be amazing. So it's very great to see such a good item being added into the game right now. As far as the green ones go, there's really nothing. Like, this one is going to be the one you're going to use until you can craft this or this. Now let's move on to the legs. Legs, this Karak humility is very easy to get. You get it from Karak, which obviously everybody will want to do all the time it's up. Obviously 8% health is probably the best stat you can get, and if you get 30%, it will be getting 10 or 11%. That's amazing. That's a really, really good item. I would say that you want to go for this quite early in the game. None of this really gives infantry anything, so they're not useful at all. Karak is the one. Now, this one is one of the used ones before we had these new items, so 3% defense, it's pretty bad. There's nothing much on it. This one is much better now that it's been added. 6% attack, so this one will be what you want to build. Of course, you'll start with Ranger's Trousers, 4%. We'll build your way up to this one, 6%, and you'll build you up 8% when you can. It's a very chronological, simple order, and if you have more than one march, obviously you can use a mix of some of these. They're really good new items. I'm really impressed by that. Now, lastly, you will see that the boots, there is these ones that have been added. So 5.5% defense. That's by far the best item you can get for purple, as the other ones don't give any infantry stats anyways. Now, as again, so Windswept boot, when you have the bonus 2%, will be very worth it to have 2 pieces, and this is a very good item. 2.5% can get maybe 3.5% with the boost, and this one, otherwise 4% health, will be a better alternative to Windswept boots if you don't have the set bonuses. So again, this is a new item that's really good for infantry. It's really good that they added that. And until you can get it, these ones with 2% attack will be pretty decent. Otherwise, there's nothing else really for an option. So this will be your first item. This will be your second item. And maybe alternated with the Windswept, depending. Again, I say you should keep the 2% troop attack with 2 items. Craft what you can. Again, obviously it'll depend on your pattern and your material, but it's a pretty easy mathematical equation now, and as I work through it, I will craft my own perfect set for infantry for low spenders that will only include purple and lower, and I will make other videos on that in the future to help you with that. Now, for Cav players, of course, the Vanguard set now only has 2 pieces still, but it is by far the best set you can get. You can craft it so easy in the game. You will get a lot of these components from just the quest that you do every day. There really is so many ways of getting these items, and the stats on it, like this weapon alone has 9% stats, and this weapon, this boost have 5%, and then they give plus 2%. It is by far, every Cav player should have these on all of their Cav marches, at least until you get better. It's super easy to craft and it's very strong. Now, there's nothing else that's really cav focused other than obviously their own set here. So there is a lot of good cav items to replace these. Now, in the blue, 8% attack here for cav in the weapons is still not as good as this. This is still much better. So until you can get one of these purple items, which this one specifically, which gives 13%, and even then again, 13% as opposed to 9%, the difference is not so massive. Like, obviously this is better, but it's not so massive that I would rush this weapon right away, because especially the 2% extra here has to be counted. So I would say this is the only replacement to Vanguard helmet halberd is this item, but I would not make it my top priority. Now, if we go into the helmets, this helmet here is the best one for cavs, and it's quite easy to get a pattern. I have 2 of them already from not even trying to get it. So 8% attack, again, very good helmet. Otherwise, the Expedition Wall Helm is 6%, and you can get this one quite easily. I've crafted one already. You get it in a lot of these events, and you can buy its pattern in the Series Crisis. You can buy 30 of this pattern quite easily. It's not that expensive at all. So this is probably the most accessible helmet. It's very easy to craft, very easy to get, and it's not that expensive. But it also gives quite a lot of stats, because 6% as opposed to 8%, the difference is not that massive, but it's defensive attack, so it's a bit less good. Otherwise, you have the Helm of Fear, which is now an item that is a lot easier to craft than it was before, and 4% attack is very decent until you can get this one or the purple one. And there's nothing else really. So, Helm of Fear will be the first priority, and will be probably what we use for a long time on a lot of our cav marches. And then you will get the Expedition War Helm, and then eventually you'll get the Abyssal Visage, which is very good. Now, in terms of chest, we have this one here. There we go, the Dark Lord's Blessing. It's a new item. I don't think I've seen it before. 8% cav defense. Again, very good. 8% is very strong. Otherwise, you have not much options here. If you look, there's, this one is the same as we were using for Infantry. It has 4.5%. And again, the 2-piece could still apply. So this is a set that will also work well for cav players. Now, especially if you get 2 pieces, this would be one of the 2 pieces I would recommend. And you obviously want to get a proc on it for cav if you're going to build for cav, or infantry if you're going to build for infantry. So you have to be careful on how you build your windswept, because you're not going to get a million of them so fast. But that's still a good option. Otherwise, you have 2% cav here or 4% cav defense here. So I would recommend that you get the Milanese plate for 4% cav defense, and you can easily get more of those to get a proc. If you don't want to, obviously this one is 4.5%. But I would say recommend getting this and using it until you can switch to this one. That's probably the most optimal way of doing things. Again, you can use a windswept with 2 pieces to get more attack. It's a bit better probably. So, the choice is yours depending on how you're focusing your own account. If you're more infantry or cav based, the windswept will have a different use for you. And the march speed is very good for cavs as well. So this is a lot of options. Again, it's really great to have options. Again, these 2 are pretty comparable, and then you get this one, which is the best in slot until you get orange. Now, in terms of gloves, you will have this one here, which is 6% cav items. This is a very good item. A lot of people have had crafted already, because it's quite easy to craft, needing only one type of material, and you can get this pattern quite easily from a Zarus League and other places already. So, very good item. Nothing here else gives much cav stuff that you care about. So, this is going to be your best item you can get until you get orange, of course. Now, again, the Windswept Bracer gives a little bit of the cav stuff. So this is, again, another item that's okay to get for cavs. Otherwise, the 2% here is not great, and this is not cav focused at all. So the only really good blue item that applies is this one. And again, with the troop bonus with 2 pieces, you'll get something good out of that. Otherwise, you can go for this one, which is, again, a new item. 2.5% defense. It's green. It's very easy to craft, very cheap to craft. Everybody can have one until they can afford one of the other ones. It's great that they added this. Very easy, very good. So, again, this is the priority. You'll get this one until you can get Windswept, until you can get EZs. Now, for the pants, we said earlier, of course, the Vanguard Greaves are probably the best for value until you can replace them with this one, which is 8% cav health, which is a very good stats for cav and a very good item. Again, not hard to get, as I can already craft it from getting it, all these stuff, it's everywhere. So this is going to be your main cav item when you can achieve it. But until you do, I would say, don't get any of these blue ones. Obviously, don't even give anything. This is going to be Vanguard Greaves forever until you can switch to this one. Even then, 5% stat is already very good on one item that's green. It won't be your first priority. You won't replace the Vanguard set for a long time. It will be probably the last two items you want to replace on any Cav commanders because it's just so good on its own and it's green, so it's so cheap to craft. Now, lastly, going over the boots, there is these boots here, 5.5% attack. Again, that's very good. That is probably the best item you can get for calves when you can get purple. Other than that, you will probably get the windswept again. That is the only option that really gives a lot of calf because all the blue ones don't give anything else. And the green one, the only one that gives is this one with 1% attack. So again, windswept is your best option. You would probably mix this with maybe the chest or the gloves and get 2 pieces and then get your Vanguard set and then mix and match with the rest. And you'll have a very, very strong, very low spending capable set for calves. Now, last but not least, archers. Now, archers are a very bad unit for the first few months of the game, but when KvK 1 starts and you have a Waisongi Elcid expertise, well, they will be rallying with archers because everybody's playing infantry these days, and infantry is the best defense, but archers counter them. So it's very, very good they made this revival set. It is purely, well, not purely, but mostly an archer the focus set. If you look through it, all of them have a 7.5% or 4.5. It's higher than the other ones by far. And this troop attack 3% and troop defense 3%. It's 6% for a set bonus is amazing. Now, these 4 items will be the best in slot purple set for archers. It is, if you're going to play archers, this is your goal. You want to get 1 full set of this on your main archer commander. Hopefully it includes a Waisongi in there because Waisongi is insane as an archer commander, as well as Edward and all these guys coming out in the future. So obviously there's alternatives until you can, but it's very much easier than the other calves or infantry because you have an entire full set of purple that is made for archers, so it's going to be great. Now, it's also going to be usable by other infantry and cav because these are not specific to archers. So if you have a full set of this, it will still be usable if you want to use it on an infantry march or cavalry march that you have as a secondary. You can unequip this and equip it on the other march for certain content. So in all, Revival set is an amazing set that you should be crafting probably very soon. I would say maybe even for season 2 of KvK, where there's a lot of infantry and archer plays. This will be one of the main major set that will be moving around a lot of your commanders. Now, as far as items go, this is probably the easiest achievable item. I already have 28 out of 30, so I'm very close to getting it. And it's archer defense 13%. It's an insanely high stat for archers. If you look around here, the other one is 8% defense on the staff, which also is a very easily craftable one. As you can see, I have 6 of them. So it will be very good to craft this until you can get this. There's not much else here. I mean, the archer attack 4% here is going to be good until. So you'll go from this one to this one to this one. And this one will be the one you'll use for a very long time. Now, in the helmets, we already talked about this. The Revival set is going to be the best helmet you can get here. If you don't want to use the Revival or if you can't afford it yet, there is not a lot of alternatives. You see the blue ones don't really give anything for archers. You'll have to go all the way into the green one here, the Helm of the Phoenix, which is not hard to get. But 4% defense is the best you can get until you can craft the Revival set. So, the choice here is very straightforward. You only go from one to the other. And that will be pretty much the same for all, like I said, all the purple items here. Only the Revival gives stuff. So you'll find the best item here. So for the chest, Archer Health 6% is the best one you can get in the blue ones. This stuff here is not very good at all. And this doesn't have Archer. Otherwise, these ones actually is 3% attack. It's better than this one. So you would go from this one to the Revival one. And that's pretty much how it would go. Now, next, for the gloves. Of course, we are still going to be using the Revival as the best for archers. Now, as a secondary set, Saint Song is the one with 4%. It has the most out of anything else here. Of course, there's nothing else. So the blue item that's really good, Saint Song. And if you go into the green ones, this leather gloves has 2.5 archer health. And this one doesn't have anything. This one doesn't have anything. So obviously, leather gloves is the first one, the green. You go to Saint Song until you can get Revival. Quite straightforward. I think for archers, every single kind of item that has Revival is pretty much the same. You will always want to have the Revival. And then if you can't, you will take the second best, which in this case, for the pants, we're having the 6% archer defense from Greaves of the Exile. Again, the only good blue item that you can get. I mean, 3% here is okay, but there's nothing else that's really as good as this one. And in here, you'll have a 2% archer defense trousers. you don't have anything else, there's no other choice than the Ranger trousers. So it will go from here to again the revival. Now lastly, we're gonna go with the boots. The boots don't have revival per se, so you're gonna have to use this one, which is Flames Tread. 5.5% Archer health. That is an absolutely great item. That's a lot of good stats. Obviously, if you cannot craft this one, first you will start with actually nothing in the blue. There's nothing else in the blue that you can get. The only really good item that you can get here is the Edged Boots. So Edge Boots is going to be 2.5% Archer attack. That's really good. If you really want to go on the cheap, you can have 2% defense for white items. So you can go from here to here, and then from here to here directly. I would say recommend that Flame Tread is probably one of the items you want to craft first to go from like green to purple first, because of the big difference and how there's nothing else really good in the blue. So of course the revival set is really good, but this is probably one of the biggest increase in terms of one item per se. Now again, nothing else to say about the equipment for accessories other than get what you can, but focus on getting gear first, and applies the same as what I said for the infantry and for Cav. There's nothing in here that you really need to get right away, that you can really get right away. Stalin Trowel and the Lane's Amulet are two of the only real accessible ones for non-whales, but again, you know, it takes a long time to get the full pattern, and it's not worth the material, considering how you can be getting maybe 1 or 2 full items of purple with this material, unless you have full purple set item already, then you can probably go into these items. So that is probably it for this guide. Now, as I said, this is a very new patch. There's always evolution in this. There's going to be a lot of different opinions. Feel free to leave us a comment or come on our Discord and chat with us if you have any suggestion or feedback, or if you have any opinion about this. We're happy to hear anything. Obviously, not everything I say here is 100% accurate, because some things could change and some items could be better for other players depending on where you are. Now, this is my opinion of what I think the best items are and how you should focus them for every category, as well as some of the information for the new patch. I'm always happy to hear what you guys think about it, and to have some extra feedback for other opinions for other players to use the items differently. So guys, thank you for watching. Again, we are very excited to be moving forward in Rise of Kingdom. Our kingdom is doing very well in KvK, and we have a very great team of people here. So we are very excited to play with you guys more and keep you updated with more videos, and keep on the lookout for our next KvK highlight part 3, which will be coming in the coming week, as well as more videos on all these new features, patches, and all the new stuff coming out of Rise of Kingdom. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks again for watching.